Now, here's the fun part. Now, tilt down, up, left, right, down, up. So, I don't know when I would use that. Probably not that much, but I mean, come on. How cool is that, right? Welcome back, YouTube. Glad you can join me today. I'm excited because today I'm doing my first unboxing, and as you can tell right here, we are unboxing the DJI RSC2 Pro Combo. Since I've started my photography business, I've been eyeing this thing, and I finally got it, and I'm about to step up my game when it comes to filmmaking and videography with this. So let's get right into this unboxing. I've already taken the plastic off of this thing, so it's a little bit easier. I didn't want to bore you all with me unwrapping a whole bunch of plastic and things, so we're going to skip a few steps here. But okay, so first thing is it comes in a case, which is just the same way that DJI does with their drones. So if you're familiar with their drones, everything already comes packaged in its own case. So, all right, let's get into this. Let's see what we got first of all. All right, we got our instruction manuals. As I said, I went ahead and took everything out of the plastic, but I haven't gone through it yet, so we're going to do that together. Here's one of the quick release mounts. This is the tall one. There comes with two of them. One's a little bit smaller. This one is the tall one. Here we've got one of the first things we've got, if I can get it out. Okay, so this is a cell phone or tablet holder that looks like it'll mount on the gimbal. Looks like it'll use a cold shoe mount. So that'll be interesting to be able to mount your phone to the large Ronin. We'll keep that handy. All right, so here is the mounting plate, and here we can see the quick release. As I mentioned earlier, this is the smaller of the two. This one's a little bit shorter, and that'll slide right into the mount, which is like a Manfrotto mount, and it locks into place. And you can release that by pushing in the little unlock mechanism, and it'll slide out. So that's going to be an important piece, so we'll keep that here. The Raven Eye transmitter that will wirelessly transmit what you're seeing in the camera field of view. You'll see that on your tablet or iPhone, iPad, and this is what gives that transmission of the image. It's got an HDMI out and a couple USB-C. So this one is going to be an important piece that we're going to put on. And finally, we have the tripod mount. So this is pretty similar to the one on the OM4. If you have one, you've seen that before. It looks like my light just went out. And now we're about to get to the fun part. All right, here we go. So here is the gimbal. Okay, so wow, it is sturdy and heavy. It's got a really good weight to this. It's not super heavy, but it's got a nice build quality feel to it. Let's see here, let's unlock it and get this. Oh wow, it's got some good resistance to that. All right, we'll lock it in to place. All right, so let's get our tripod going here, and we'll get this stood up here. All right, so we got the tripod attached, and we're about to take a look at this in a second. I'm going to set that right here, and we're going to look at what else we have, which I think the rest of it is just cable. So you've got a bunch of USB-C to mini USB, USB-A to USB-C, so these are going to be different connections depending on the camera that you have, as well as some HDMI cables. You got some mini HDMI to regular HDMI. Let's put these over here and these over here. Okay, so we're done with the case. Let's get this out of the way, and we're going to unlock this thing and take a look. All right, here we go. This is the DJI RSC2, so we've got it out. The battery's charged up. I am going to turn it on. There we go. So let's see. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at that mounting plate. So that's going to go here into the mount. All right, and we're going to lock that in. All right, that's good. The mounting plate, and we're going to attach that to the bottom of the camera. One of the most important parts of a gimbal is first you got to get it balanced before you can even use it. So there's several steps that we're going to have to go through to get this balanced in each one of the axes before we turn it on and do the auto tune and do some balance testing. Mounting. Okay, we're going to slide that over just a little bit and lock it into place. Here comes the part where we're going to balance it. Now this can take a little bit of time to balance it right, but the first one that you're going to do is we're going to do the tilt. So we're going to unlock the arm, and you can see how it immediately falls. Ideally, what you want to do is get this balanced to where if I put it at a 45-degree angle, the camera will stay right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to adjust this mounting plate backwards to shift the weight. Almost there. You can see now that it's starting to balance. It's almost staying at that 45-degree angle. So just another unlock. There, barely moved it. This thing is I told you that it can be very tricky to balance this. There we go. So now if I put it at a 45-degree angle, it should stay. All right, so now that we've adjusted the tilt, we're going to adjust the roll, which is going to be this one here. And what we want to do is we want to get it to where when we let it go, it's perfectly balanced. So this is what we're going to do here. We're going to unlock this. Now we're going to loosen this one and we're going to move this arm. That's too much that way, so let's come back this way. We're getting close. There we go. So now it's balanced. So we're going to lock that in. Okay, so we've got the tilt and the roll. Now we're going to do the pan. And the way this works is we've unlocked it, so it'll swivel. Now if I tip this forward, it should stay level. Okay, so it's not turning either direction. So that means it is balanced. Okay, so we have balanced everything. So now what we're going to do is we are going to power this on, and we're going to connect the gimbal to the DJI Ronin app. So let's power this on. We're going to hit connect, and you're going to see that it's in the list of devices. So I'm going to tap on that and we're going to connect. Okay, we are connected. You can see we are connected. And let's do the balance test. So this one, we're going to hold the gimbal at an incline between 15 and 45 degrees, and then we're going to test. So we're going to tilt this, and the app says that we're at about 20 degrees. We're going to hit begin test, and it's going to go through and balance this using the app. You see it kind of moves itself around a little bit. And it's important to balance it prior to turning the gimbal on and balancing it, because if you don't have it balanced beforehand, then these motors have to work harder to keep the camera balanced. And you don't want those motors, you don't want the motors working harder because it puts too much strain on them. They might wear out sooner or later. Okay, so now as you can see by the app, our balance test result says that the tilt, the roll, and the pan are all excellent. So we're going to hit OK. Now we're going to go back and we're going to look at the motor parameters. And next there's an item called Auto Tune. I don't quite know what the difference between auto tune yet is in the balance, but what it's going to do is it's going to check the exact setting for the tilt, the roll, and the pan. So we're going to turn on auto tune, and you'll see the gimbal start to shake a little bit. That's it running through its test. So let's hit auto tune, and we're going to hit OK. There you can see it kind of shaking itself around. It's about 40% done. It's calibrating about 60% on the little 1-inch screen. You can see that. 80%, 100% complete. All right, and we can see that it's changed as you noticed beforehand. And you can see this on the screen. Obviously, I'm putting up what's on the iPad and the app. You can see that. But you can see it modified some of the stiffness of the tilt and the roll and the pan, and the strength as well. Okay, so now the gimbal is ready. So what I'm going to do is I'll show you how it moves around. So if you use the joystick, go to the left. If you hit the joystick to the right, if you go up, we can go down. And then what's really cool is where you would use it is when you're trying to film and you're moving around and you want to get rid of some of that that jitteriness from walking. This is what the gimbal is used for. So you can see as I move around that the camera is staying level. So no matter what I'm doing, if I'm moving around, then it's going to stay. So we're going to double click this and level it back out. Now, right now what it's on is pan, tilt, follow. So as I tilt down, the camera will look down. If I go up, the camera will slowly go up. If I go to the side. Now if I hold the trigger down, first we're going to balance it back out, double click. Now if I hold the trigger down, the gimbal is locked. Now if I tilt down, it stays where it is. It doesn't go down, it doesn't go up, it doesn't go to the right or to the left. So pretty cool, isn't it? Okay, so next what we're going to do is we are going to get the Raven Eye hooked up to this, and we're going to check that out and see how it works in the app. Now, what we're going to do is once we put this on here, it's going to change the balance. So we're going to have to kind of rebalance and recalibrate everything once we put this in. But let's get that done. Let's power this off, and I'm going to lock all the axes so that we can get this installed. There's one more here. All right, and there. Okay, so the Raven Eye, what it does is it's going to mount right up in here. It's got the cold shoe mount right up underneath here, so we're just going to slide it in. You'll hear it kind of click or feel it click. There we go. Now these antenna, obviously, when they fold in when it's not in use, but obviously we're going to fold those out, and you can turn them either way, but you're not going to have to adjust them too much because typically you're using your iPad or your phone pretty close to the gimbal. So I've already picked out the cables that we're going to have to use. Now, one of the first things we're going to have to do is we're going to take the HDMI cable and we're going to hook it up to the HDMI in on the Raven Eye and to the HDMI mini out on the camera. So let's get that done here. So we're just going to plug in the mini HDMI, and then we're just going to plug this in right to the HDMI in on the Raven Eye. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to connect the power of the Raven Eye to the gimbal, the data cable. So that we're going to use this little short 90-degree USB-C to USB-C. So we're just going to install that here at the back. And there's 3 inputs on the gimbal. This is going to go into the last one here of the 3. Now, the last thing we want to do is hook up the data cable from the camera to the gimbal itself. And you'll notice which one you need to put that in because there's a little camera symbol right here on that input. So we're going to put the USB-C into that input, and then we're going to fish this around and put the mini USB into the camera. So now we have everything connected. So now what we're gonna have to do is rebalance this. So let's unlock the first. And what we have to do first is tilt it all the way up, and it should stay at a 90-degree angle. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to loosen this and slide this arm until it stays a tad too much. There we go. So now it's staying at 90 degrees, so we're gonna tighten this back up. So now what we wanna do is, if we put it at a 45-degree angle, it needs to stay at a 45-degree angle. And it is, so that's good. All right, so let's lock this in. So next what we're gonna do is we're gonna unlock the roll, and you see how it immediately tilted to the left. So now we're gonna have to adjust this arm. We're gonna loosen this mount, and we're gonna slide this over until it is balanced. And I'm gonna do this to where y'all can see it. Oh, we're going to the wrong way. There we go. So too much to the right. There we go. So now it's balanced. So now we're gonna tighten that up. All right, let's unlock this, lock it in. We're gonna lock the roll, and now we're gonna do the pan one more time. And if we tilt it forward, it should not turn. It is turning, so we're gonna loosen this a little bit and make a fine adjustment. Almost, it's very, very close. Just a little bit more. And I'm making just barely small increments. There we go. All right, so we have it all tilt. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna unlock everything, all the axes. We're gonna unlock them all, and we're gonna power on the gimbal. And now we're gonna reconnect it to the iPad. All right, and we are already connected. Good. So now let's do, before we connect the Raven Eye, let's do our balance test again. So we're gonna tilt this forward at an angle and begin test. Ah, perfect. Balance test result is excellent for the tilt, roll, and pan. Perfect. All right, so let's double click to bring it back, and we're gonna do an auto tune really quick, and you'll see the gimbal shake again. Make some noises. It's supposed to do that. All right, 100% complete. All right, so we are good. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna connect to the Raven Eye. So down at the bottom of the screen here, you can see where it says connect. I'm just gonna tap on that. When you connect to it, it's gonna disconnect the gimbal from the Ronin. We're gonna hit okay. Now what we need to do is we need to come into Wi-Fi. We're gonna find the Ronin. All right, there's a little button on the back. Now that we've turned it on, it'll show up in our list of Wi-Fi hotspots in a second. And there's the Raven Eye. So we're gonna tap on that and connect. All right, we are connected to the Raven Eye. So let's go back to our app. All right, so now I'm gonna show you the cool thing. So I told you earlier that when you move the tablet, it's gonna move the gimbal. So we're gonna do that right now. We're gonna go back to the Raven Eye, and we're gonna come in here and we're gonna turn on Enable Force Mobile. Now, here's the fun part. Now, tilt down, up, left, right, down, up. So I don't know when I would use that. Probably not that much, but I mean, come on. How cool is that, right? And double click to bring it level. So we're gonna stop. We're gonna turn off Force Mobile. All right, well, that just about does it. I talked about that we were gonna do the autofocus motor, but I'm gonna show that in a different video. What my next video is gonna be is we're gonna actually go out and start using the gimbal, and I'm gonna show you some comparisons side by side of taking video with and without the gimbal. Well, thanks for joining me today. Hopefully you enjoyed this unboxing. I know I did. I think it was a success for my first one. If you enjoyed the video, hit like, thumbs up on the video. Leave a comment below on what you thought about this unboxing, maybe something I could do different next time, a way to improve. And I'd also love to hear your tips and tricks for the RSC2 gimbal by DJI. I just got it, so I'm looking forward to using it. So leave me some tips below. And if you like the kind of content that I put out, please think about subscribing. As I mentioned in a previous video, we recently hit 1,000 subscribers. We're actually over 1,200 subscribers. So I want to thank everybody who's subscribed to the channel. Thank you for supporting me, and I'm going to continue to put out as much good content as I can. So thanks again. Subscribe, like, and comment below. And until next time,